What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Peak RC. Sorry, and I know it's been 2 or 3 weeks since we posted a video. We've just been real busy. We went out of town for 4th of July. Hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July. Today I'm going to be making a stand for the RC cars to work on them, whatnot. I think I'm going to try to do something modular. I don't know if you want to call it modular, but I want to have a base plate basically with some pockets in it so I could put parts and pieces and screws and stuff in it, with a stand coming out of the middle for working on, to hold it up in the air while we work on it. So it's gonna be a video of me just designing it on CAD and then sending it to the printer. Here's what I'm thinking. I've seen, you see them, you can buy them. Anyways, I want to build something I can set these on and they'll sit up, and then there'll be a little plate underneath them that holds, parts and pieces and shocks and screws, different stuff like that. But I want something that's going to be able to hold at least all three of these. I can make something bigger for something, say that guy right there or whatever. But I want something for sure that I can put these three on, as these are kind of the three main cars we're using currently. So I want to make something that we could put all three of these cars on. Problem being, this one and, the Mini B here and the Mini T, or the Micro B and the Mini T, we should be able to probably use the same stand for, right? But with the SCX24, it's significantly more narrow at the bottom there, and I don't want it sitting on the linkages because it's not going to sit, flat on there. It's not going to be secured. It's going to want to try to fall off. So I'm going to try to build something probably that goes in between the linkages and then kind of wraps around. So it'll go in between the linkages here and then kind of wraps around the outsides. And yeah, that's kind of what we're working with today. In the next video, we'll probably be doing some more stuff with the carpet track. That's kind of what we got going on right now. So all right, so let's go design this thing in CAD and then we'll send it over to the printer. All right, everybody, so we're going to be creating the RC Workbench, is what I'm going to call it, I guess, here on FreeCAD. FreeCAD is a free version of CAD software. You can download it online. It's not the simplest thing to use. It could be the simplest one to use. I don't know. I'm pretty new to the CAD programming. Like I said, I just recently bought a 3D printer and I've been messing around with it. And so I've been designing different things in here. I've been watching YouTube videos to learn how to use FreeCAD. We're going to do our best here to try to create a little RC workbench, right? So when I take these RC cars apart, I'm sure you guys have seen them. They make little stands and organizers and stuff that you can put your parts in while you're taking them apart and working on them. So today I'm going to try to make one of those. Here we're just going to start by creating a new part that's in the part design workbench here. I'm going to create a new body and a new sketch on the XY plane, and I'm going to build half of this and then mirror it to flip it to the other half so I don't have to do as much work to the whole thing. So I'm just going to start with a rectangle here, and my printer will do, it says it'll do 220 millimeters cubed, basically. So 220 millimeters wide, 220 millimeters long, 220 millimeters high. But I do think that that's not completely accurate, so I'm going to drop it down to like 215 squared. So we're going to build a rectangle here that's 215 millimeters wide by 107.5 millimeters long. that'll give us half of it, right? So then when we mirror it, it's going to take the top half up here, this whole thing, and flip it to down here. So we have a mirrored image top and bottom, right? So here I'm just going to add some constraints basically to this to give it somewhere to attach to. That way everything's lined up. Right now I can move this around, right? I gave it dimensions, so it's going to stay the same dimensions, but I can move it around. We don't want to be able to move it around. It's not going to hurt anything, but you could screw something up later on. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna go give it a constraint from here to here of 0 millimeters. See, it's not working. Sometimes it does that. I don't really understand why. Let's go ahead and delete this part. If you guys have any tips on this thing for me, I don't think I use it enough. Like I said, I've watched a few videos on it, and I was learning quite a bit, but then I didn't use it for like a week, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So we'll just create it all the way over here off of the constraint here, or the XY axis. So let's go 215, oops, 215 by 107.5. Okay, now we'll add constraints to it. So we'll go, we want this to be half of 107.5. So we could just type in 107.5 divided by 2. That didn't work because I selected the wrong corner. We want this corner and this corner. 107.5 divided by 2. Why is that not working? Ugh. Let's drag it closer, that might help. Oh, that's because I'm doing the wrong side. My bad. So we want to go 107.5 even because we're splitting the 215 millimeter side right here. I was splitting this side. That's not the side I'm trying to split. So half of 215 is 107.5. So we're going to go 107.5 off of there. That'll center it up. So you see it centered here. And then we're going to go 0 here, which will bring it down. Okay, so we're going to close this. We're going to pad it. And I think I want it to be about, the pockets to be about 20 millimeters deep, but I want the base of it to have about a 2 millimeter thickness all the way around. So we're going to go 22 millimeters. That way we'll have 2 millimeters here at the bottom and then a 20 millimeter pocket sitting on top of that. So we'll go 22 millimeters. We're going to click on this top section here and create a new sketch. What I'm doing, this purple line here just adds external geometry that you can then clip. You can use that to do measurements off of with your next drawing. So can't wait. So what we're gonna do here, get back to the project. Sorry about that. Get a little sidetracked. So I want 4 equal pockets down here on the bottom, right? I want to have 2 millimeter wall thickness between each one. That way there's a little bit of strength there, right? And I'm going to do 2 rows. So I'm going to do a row of 4 here and a row of 2 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rectangle tool here, and we're going to make, I've already done the math, it's 51.25, I believe. Let me verify that. Yes. So it's going to be 51.25, and I'm going to do them let's say, I think I did 30 millimeters. I wanted to do 30 millimeters. Okay, so 51.25 with 30, right? So I'm going to make another one here, 51.25 by 30. Then I'm going to make one here, 51.25, 30. I'm going to make another one here, 51.25, 61, 51.25 by 30. Okay, so now I have my 4 rectangles, but I need to get them up in a row up here. And I want 2 millimeters. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's easier ways to do this. I'm pretty sure I probably learned those ways, but I forgot. So I'm just kind of going, figuring it out as I go. So I want this to be 2 millimeters from this. Oh, that's 20. It's okay, we can change that. 2 millimeters from that. Okay. And then I want this line and this line to be, because I'm on this side of the line, I have to give that a negative value so it'll push it to the other side of the line. So I want to be negative 2 millimeters from that, right? See how you pushed it over to the other side? Then I want this point and this point to be 2 millimeters apart, and I want this point and this point to be, let's make sure that went right. I want this point and this point. Yeah, you gotta get it to 2 millimeters. Okay. Now everything is spaced 2 millimeters. This one is 2 millimeters from the wall. This one's 2 millimeters from this one. This one's 2 millimeters from this one. This one's 2 millimeters from this one. And this one will have a 2 millimeter difference between that and the wall. So everything's even. So now we want to push these all up to the top. We're going to go off of this line to this line. And 2 millimeters. See how that turned green? That just means it's fully constrained, meaning you can't move it now. So 2 millimeters from that. What did I do wrong? I dropped it down 2 millimeters from that. So we're just going to back that up a little bit. We're going to grab this line and we'll just grab it here. And 2 millimeters. And we'll grab this one and this one. And go 2 millimeters here and 2 millimeters here. Okay. So now I have that. Now I can technically close this right here and I can pocket those. But because I'm going to pocket everything to the same depth, I will just create my next set down here. So we're going to go 2 more rectangles. We're going to start roughly in the right area. We're going to go, let's see, we have 215 millimeters total length, and we want 2 millimeters between each pocket and 2 millimeters between the wall. So I need to take off 6 millimeters because we're going to have 2 millimeters between it here, 2 millimeters between it here, and 2 millimeters between it here. So 215 minus 6 is 209. So then 209 divided by 2 will give us how long we want. So we want them to be, what would that be, 104.5. So we're going to go, start here, we're going to go 104.5, and we want them to be about 40 tall. Okay, the problem here is this, you see this line right here just constrained down the center. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is try to move this, which is not going to let us move it off that line. It'll let us move it up and down, but it won't let us move it side to side. That's because it automatically constrained itself to the vertical line here, the y-axis. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, so all I did was back it up, and it actually pulled it off that line. So now we can add another one over here. We'll try to get it close without getting too close that it constrains itself. We'll go 104.5 by 40. Okay. Okay, so nothing can automatically constrain itself, so we're good. So we're going to go here and here and give that a dimension of 2 millimeters. And we're going to go from here to here and give that a dimension of, see, that just gave me equal constraints. So back that up a little bit. We'll go to this side. Like I said, I'm sure there's easier ways to do this. If you guys have any tips or tricks, let me know. Or good videos to watch or anything like that. I would appreciate that. So we'll go this corner to this corner, 2 millimeters. And we'll go this corner to this corner, 2 millimeters. Okay, now we have our pockets, right? I don't want to create one that's single use. I want to be able to use it for different cars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hole in the center, pocket in the center here, that I can then build separate stands essentially, right? So if I want to put my mini T on here, I can make uh, a stand that fits the bottom of the mini T that's on a shaft that fits into that hole right there. So then if I want to put my mini T on there, I just put that shaft in there, put that stand, and I can put my mini T on it. If I want to put the SCX24 on there, I can create the same size shaft with a different pad on top that will let me put that car on there, right? So on and so forth. I want to be interchangeable for different cars, right? This may not work permanently because the bigger the vehicle, the wider I'm going to want this tray to be. So I may have to make two that snap together or glue together or something, right? So that basically this would be double the height and it would be double both sides. We may do that in the future. I don't know. It'll depend on what we get. But so I'm going to create a pocket here, but I want it to be centered off of this so that when we mirror this, it creates a full circle instead of just a half circle. So you'll see what I mean here in a second. So I want this to be about 20 millimeters, and that's automatically constrained because I selected it from this point. Okay, so that's our basic design. We're going to go ahead and close this. Right, we have this whole sketch selected. We could unselect it, and it's not going to do anything if we try to create a hole, right? Oh, it will. I didn't think it would do that. Anyways, I usually select the sketch. I create pocket, and like I said, we want these to be 20 millimeters deep. That'll leave us with a 2 millimeter layer at the bottom. So we create that, and you see how it created just a half circle here. So I'm going to basically create this exact thing onto the other side. So what we do is we just select the body, we select mirror, and then here you can just play around with the axis that it's on. So like if I were to do it on XY axis, it's going to flip it upside down and put it underneath. So then you'll have holes up here, pockets up here and pockets down here. That's not going to do any good. If I were to go YZ plane, that looks like it just doubles itself up. So we want XY or XZ plane, which will flip it. Now we have that doubled up side to side, right? So let's go ahead and move this up here so you can see. We're just going to go ahead and hit OK. Now we've created our stand. So that's what I was talking about is I'm gonna create little pegs that sit in here with a stand that comes up with a platform on top. That way I have, a basic setup that I can then interchange for different cars. So the only thing that I'm thinking on this is that these pockets being squared on the bottom is going to make it kind of difficult, like if you got little screws in there to get your screws out. So I'm going to actually add fillets on it so it rounds the corners. That way you could, once you get your finger on the screw, you could just slide it and pull it up out of there. So we're going to go ahead and fillet. I'm going to hold control to select all these. We're going to go ahead and fillet all of these ones. And we'll just do these ones the same. Okay, so we're going to select the fillet tool here. And Let's see, 3. Let's go an even 5 millimeters. Okay, so what that did is it rounded this corner off. You want to wait till the end to do your fillets, because the fillet will, if you create a fillet, then you want to create something on top of this, but you want it to be a certain dimension from this wall. It makes it hard to use. Like if I try to create another item inside of here, it makes it hard to get your dimensions correct. Sometimes you can't grab that corner to get your dimension right. Just makes it a little bit more difficult. So I think we're going to call this one good. This is our first version of it. So if we need to make some changes, we can always come back later and make those changes. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to create a new document here, and we're going to create a stand for, let's say, the mini T. So the mini T, which this thing might be a little bit big for this stand, but we're going to go ahead and try to make it work. If not, like I said, I'll just double it up and we'll either make some pegs so that it slides together or clips together, or we'll just glue it together. We want it to be 75 millimeters wide, and we'll just say like 50 maybe long. So we're gonna just create a new body, create a new sketch, same plane. I don't think it really matters unless you're trying to put stuff together. I know there's a way to do, like, I think on the part workbench you can put the things together in CAD to make sure that they fit together. I haven't figured out how to do that stuff yet. This is really intriguing to me. I've always liked like 3D design. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. I liked the drafting, doing house plans and building plans and stuff like that. I always thought that was cool. Obviously, I didn't end up doing that, but let's go ahead and we're just going to create a centered rectangle. We'll do a centered rectangle with a rounded edge. Well, it's not going to give me center, but we're going to do 50 by 75. Okay, and we want them to be like 5 millimeter edges on it. Okay, so we want to take this point, and this point, and we do the symmetry constraint. It'll automatically center it up. Oh, that did not work. I'm still trying to figure this out myself. So let's take this point. Oh, you have to select the outside ones first. I remember now. Okay, so I took this point, this point. You take points that are equal distances away. So like this point is equal to this, this distance here, and this distance here is the same as this distance here and this distance here. So you select the outside corners first, and then you select the one you want to constrain it to, which is the center XY point, and then you just hit the symmetrical constraint here. So now we're going to just create a pad off of that. Let's create a pad at 5 millimeters. And then we're going to create a new sketch on top of this to add the post. That post hole is 20 millimeters. We're going to create one that basically sits on top of it and then inside. So we're going to go 30 millimeters. That'll give us 5 millimeters on each side that it kind of sits on top. We don't have to do that, but I think it'll just look better than this just skinny little shaft sticking up out of it. We'll go 30 millimeters. We're going to pad this. Close this out. We're going to pad that to 75 millimeters. You can type that in or you can just scroll it up. Sometimes I find it easier to not have to take my hand off the mouse. Okay, we're going to create a new one on top of this. This is going to be the peg that actually sticks down into the body. So we'll go ahead and create another circle here. Now I don't need external geometry because right now, because I'm doing everything off of this center line, so it's automatically going to constrain it. We'll do this one. The hole is 20, but I don't want it to be a super tight fit where it's hard to get it in and out of there. I want to be able to turn the car if I need to while it's on the stand. So I'm going to go, let's do a 0.5 millimeter smaller. So we're going to go 19.5 millimeters. That'll give us a 0.25 millimeter gap all the way around it, which will allow it to like fit in there easier and rotate. I think. Maybe I'll have to go a little bit bigger. I can reprint that later if that's the case. So we're going to go 19.5 millimeters. We're going to close this. We're going to pad this. Remember, our depth is 20 millimeters, but I don't want it to sit on the bottom and have a bunch of friction when turning, because then it would have friction here and here when turning. So we're going to go 19 millimeters with this. So give a 1 millimeter grace at the bottom there. So now I want to chamfer or fillet this edge, just make it a little bit easier to get it into there. We're just going to go 1 millimeter on it. All it did was round that edge there. And then let's say we do it here too, just to make it look a little bit better. We'll fillet that and we'll go, let's go, and that's 5 millimeters, so we'll go 2 millimeters. That's all that's going to do is just give it a nice rounded edge on the bottom there. We want the top to be flat because something's going to be sitting on it. So there's our second part there. And now we're just going to go ahead and send these to the slicer for our FlashForge printer here. And we'll send them to the printer and get them printing. I'll see if I can figure out how to do the time-lapse video on the printer. That way you guys can see the printer do its magic. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to I have to save these first. So currently we're on this project. We're gonna save it, and we're gonna save it as, well, this is gonna be for the mini T. So we'll save it as the mini T stand or mini T peg or something. All right. So let me save that real quick. Okay, and then we'll save the other one as well as I'm going to save both of these, and then we just select the body at the end, and we'll take and export it. And when we export it, it'll let us save it. I have a file that's called unsliced prints, I think is what it's called. Anything that I haven't sent through the slicer, I save to there, and then if I send it through the slicer and I want to save it to print it again in the future, or the CAD file I can open from the unsliced, and I can actually make edits to it and reprint it. So if I find something down the road that I want to change about it, I can always go back into the same project and change it. All right, everybody, so this is what we came up with. This is kind of first iteration. We might make some changes to it. I haven't tried to tinker on anything with it on the stand yet, so there may be some changes to come. But for now, what we got is, you could see, you got individual pockets. They're the same on both sides. What I did do is I added a fillet to the bottom there in each pocket. That way, if you got a little screw in there, obviously if it's in a corner, it's going to be real hard to get out. So with these fillets, you should just be able to pull it up and out, kind of like a cash register where you pull the change out, how it's got a fillet on it, so you can slide it out instead of have to try to pick it up out of there. This is what we got for, you guys saw me design this one here. This is for the mini T. It's basically essentially the same thing as the one that I made for the micro B. And then this guy here is what I made for the crawler, the SCX24. So we'll go mini T first. That peg right there is just going to slip right down into that hole. It rotates, and we can set it right on top right there. So that's what we got. I mean, you're kind of underneath the wheels, but chances are if you're working on it, you're going to take the tires and wheels off anyways, which will give you some more room. You can kind of see there. So there's that one there. This is the Micro B. Same thing, so you can swivel it around, work on the back of it, work on the side of it. This one obviously has significantly more room. I guess I didn't necessarily need to make this double-sided, because I could have just taken the car, taken it apart, turned it that way. But what could help, I guess, is let's say I have to tear the whole thing down, I'm gonna upgrade something or whatever. I could mark this front and rear, and I could take and keep all the parts from the left side on this side and all the parts from the right side on this side, front parts, rear parts. It would kind of help you organize it. So there is the potential to use it for that. And then this guy here got a little more intricate. I went with the same size peg at the bottom, same size overlap, but because the base is so much smaller, I had to shrink it down at the top. And that guy sits right on there like that. It's not the most sturdy thing, but I'll flip it over and show you. So there we go. We got, spin this to the light so you can see it. That sits down in between the linkages there. That way when the linkages come up, oh, knocked it over. When the linkages come up, or down rather, they kind of sit in between it. And then I got the side to side so it doesn't, fall off of there. And like I said, it's got a little bit of rock back and forth, but it should be enough to be able to work on it. You know, maybe later on down the road I can throw a magnet in there or something, and a magnet on the bottom of the chassis, and that'll help hold it. But this one's still got plenty of room on either side. I feel like I got plenty of height in it. I should be able to sit at my desk there and kind of just tinker with them. Anyways, that's the video for today, guys. I know it's pretty short. It's been a while since we posted one. We're gonna try to get back into the groove of 1 to 2 a week. Just had a lot going on lately, been out of town, a lot of work. But thanks for watching, tune in, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you guys have any suggestions as to future content, I'm open ears to it. Also, if you have any tips and tricks for the CAD program, or even how to make better prints with a 3D printer, or future things to make with a 3D printer, I'm in the process of, I'm thinking about making basically a full RC car from 3D prints. Obviously it won't be fully 3D printed because the tires won't be printed. The electronics and stuff like that, obviously that's not going to be 3D printed, but I'm thinking the chassis, the suspension, other than the shocks, but you know, the control arms, and even the body, 3D printing all of that stuff. So stay tuned for that, because I do want to try to do that. So thanks for watching.